A few years ago, the number of people you need to build a startup was basically fixed. You want to build a product, you need to hire engineers. You want to sell it, you need to have a sales team. You want a brand, you need to hire a designer. That math now has changed. Today, one or two people who know how to use AI for velocity and execution can build a company that used to take a team of 15, with margins and growth rate that looked impossible not so long ago. I watched this happen up close. So let me walk you through how a lean AI native startup actually gets built step by step. And one thing that matters before we start, none of this depends on one perfect tool that does everything. There is no magic app. It is going to be a combination of different tools that really fits your use cases. Something like ChatGPT, Claude, or Perplexity for your research and general workflows, and whatever agentic coding tool that you like for building. The brand names matter far less than the workflow. So that's what I'm going to focus on. I've been running my creator business for more than 4 years now, and I've also been building several other ventures. So what I'm sharing today is the cleanest version of my notes of what I've used in practice and what I refined through trial and error. Let's start from where every founder starts. An idea is there on your head. Solopreneur or two of you, it doesn't matter. The first job is not to build. It is to pressure test the idea before you spend even a single weekend coding. Here is the part that most people are skipping. You need to open a research tool and do not ask it to agree with you. Ask it to try to kill your idea. Something like, here's the problem that I'm thinking of solving and who has it. Give me the 3 strongest reasons this would fail, the alternatives people might be using, and the segment where it lands hardest. You want the model to be playing your devil's advocate, not a cheerleader. Then go deeper on the customer. If you have anything at all, a rough deck, notes from a call, upload it and ask, based on this, who's the sharpest first customer? What do they care about? Where do they hang out? And what would make them switch? You're not after another generic persona. You want the specific person you go find on a Monday. And that's what is called a ICP. And you can go find them, okay? All you need to do is run a mini go-to-market pipeline through your own LinkedIn before you even build anything. Draft 10 messages to 10 people who fit that first customer profile. Ask them about the problem, not your product, and see if the pain point is real. 10 honest conversations will teach you more than a month of building. If nobody leads in, that is not a failure. That's actually you saving yourself another 6 months. So one of the biggest things that you need to learn if you want to become a founder is you need to learn how to fail fast. Now, once the problem holds up, you need to sketch your first go-to-market and your MVP together because they sort of inform each other. For go-to-market, I would say get very specific. Who are you targeting first? The one message that makes them care. The 2 channels where those people actually are and what your first 10 customers look like. This is going to be your first version, doesn't have to be your final. You'll rewrite this in a month and that's fine. Now for the MVP, kill the urge to build the whole vision. Define the single thing that proves people want this, then use your agentic coding tool to just build that one thing. You don't need to be a strong engineer to get a working prototype in front of people now. But you do need to be very clear about what you're testing. A founder who can describe the workflow precisely will get more out of those tools than an engineer who's just fuzzy about the code. And here is something that trips up a lot of first-time founders. You do not have to hire a designer on day one. You, the founder, can get surprisingly far just by yourself. The same tools with the right set of skills.markdown files and plugins can help you generate a clean logo direction, stand up simple website, and even build your own LinkedIn company page and your founder presence so you can actually look like a real company when the first customer checks you out. Get it to good enough and credible. Hire the specialist later when design becomes a real edge and not just a checkbox. Now, the moment that you got a product and real conversations happening, the small operational tasks start piling up. This is where you stop using AI as a chatbot and start treating it like an operating system for your company. Think of it like building yourself a small team of specialists before you can afford a single hire. A few things that I would set up early. Role-specific agent. So you're not just asking one generic assistant to do everything. You should have a research agent, an outreach agent, a content agent, each briefed with its own context, the way that you would brief 3 different employees. Then you need to set up automations that hand you a daily briefing every single morning. What is in your inbox? What is on your calendar? Where are your key numbers moving? So you start your day oriented instead of just being reactive. Then you should have automations that pull your meeting notes straight from your call transcripts. So you're never sitting there typing them out after a call. And take it even one step further. After every customer call, have it automatically send you the follow-up notes and action items so nothing slips through. Now, here is a practical bit for all of you. All of this can live on your own dashboard. If paying thousands of dollars a year for a stack of SaaS tool hurts you at this stage, you can build a lot of these little workflows yourself and run them inside your company. That's what being AI native actually means. The plumbing is cheap now. This part of the startup stack is the one that founders actually ignore until it becomes painful, which is the finance operations. If I were running a startup with 5 people, I would not want to spend my mornings clicking through dashboards, exporting transactions, checking who spent what, and trying to figure out whether we are actually on track. This is where Mercury's new command feature fits really naturally. Command is basically an AI interface inside your Mercury account that lets you ask questions and take action in plain English. So instead of digging around manually, I can ask something like, show me your current cash position and summarize the biggest changes from last month. And now I'm not just getting a static number, I'm getting context. What happened, where spend increased, and what actually needs my attention. Then I can go one level deeper. I can say something like compare our software spent this month versus last month and group it by vendor. This is the kind of thing founders usually end up doing in a spreadsheet or by asking somebody on the team to pull a report. But here, the workflow starts with one simple question. And the important part is that it is not magic in a black box. Command points back to the underlying details so you can verify the transactions and source data before making a decision. Now, imagine somebody on your team loses access to a card, or you need to create a new one for a contractor. You can just say something as simple as freeze Priya's card or issue a new team card with $500 monthly limit. This is simplifying not only the insights that you get, but also the financial actions you have to take. You can use command to move the work forward while still staying in control. Same thing with payments. You can say something like send the monthly payment to our existing design contractor. Now, I find that operational drag of 10 small finance tasks can fully interrupt your day. AI here can make it so much easier to check these tasks off your list so you can spend your time better. So if you're building a 5% AI native startup, Mercury command would sit in the finance layer of that operating system. Cash visibility, spend analysis, team cards, payments, and source-backed answers and actions in one place. Thanks to Mercury for sponsoring this section of today's video. Mercury is a fintech company, not an FDIC insured bank. Banking services are provided through Choice Financial Group and Column NA members FDIC. So back to your operating system. Finance is one layer of it. Now let's talk about the humans because AI native does not mean human free. It means you add humans deliberately at the right moment for the right reasons. On hiring, flip the old instinct. You used to hire when you got busy. Now busy is a reason to automate, not hire. You hire when a function becomes a real bottleneck that AI cannot carry, or when it becomes a genuine competitive advantage worth a dedicated brain. So before you post a job, ask yourself honestly, can an AI agent plus a good workflow hold this for another quarter? If yes, then wait. If the quality truly needs human judgment or real relationships, that's your signal to bring somebody in. When you get more people involved, use your agents as the connective tissue. Let AI run the program management, the status chasing, the who owns what by when, the meeting summaries, the routing, all of that. That coordination layer usually eats a founder's entire week. Your humans should spend their hours on what only humans do well. The strategic calls, the taste, the hard trade-offs, the customer relationships, the moments when being wrong is expensive. Agents handle the motion and people keep the judgment. Now, this is the part that nobody likes to talk about, and I feel it's very important. These AI agents fail, and they fail confidently. So you have to design for that. Learn the failure modes before you hand anything off. An AI agent can hallucinate a number, act on a stale data, or do exactly what you asked instead of what you actually meant. So you need to balance the autonomy against control based on how expensive a mistake is. Low stakes and reversible work like drafting or researching give the agent more room to run. Anything that touches money, customers, or public messaging, keep a human approval step in the loop. And scope your agent's permission the same way you would scope a new hire's access. You don't hand a first week employee the keys to everything. So give the AI agent read-only access where it should be read-only. In some situations, it should be able to draft but not really send. In some situations, it should be able to propose a payment but not really move the money alone. So controlled permissions aren't lack of trust. They're what let you move fast without a small mistake turning into a big one. So that's the real shape of a lean AI native startup. You're not replacing people with robots. You're building an operating system, a research layer, a go-to-market layer, an operations layer, a finance layer with agents doing the motion and a few sharp humans making the call that matter. That's how one or two people build something that used to one take a floor full of them. Now, if this was helpful, that's exactly what I'm going for on this channel. I break down AI the way a practitioner actually uses it with real workflows, applied explainers, and the stuff that helps you build. So if you want more of this, do subscribe to my channel and follow along. I've got a lot more coming on for building and shipping with AI, and I would love to have you here for it. So see you in the next one.